Go.
Hey, so
When I said loose format, I meant real loose.
The
Oh,
loosest.
I'm gonna
The
need you all
loosest
to. We're gonna
loose.
all have to fill it at the same time. That's how loose it is.
all right, so I guess we'll just start because Jeff and I were there live on
Yep.
Monday, and I was
Yeah.
there
Right.
not
Live,
Monday,
in person.
I was Tuesday. It was Tuesday and
It's
Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Yes.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
So I was there Wednesday afternoon, and that's about it.
Did you guys go to any press conferences?
I went to the Sony one only because I worked on it, but
Yeah,
Sony
so
was
I didn't get to.
can you talk about what specifically you did?
every hardware shot that you see, all the little that little lower third element, we call it the flow,
Mm-hmm.
which is just
I
that
felt
glass
you had a
ribbon
nice
with all
heavy
the
flow.
symbols. That flow,
Mm-hmm.
and mostly just booth stuff. Like anytime you see like a PlayStation in the booth or like a render of something, worked on that.
But so that white PlayStation 4, you did that?
Yeah, I did that render.
Nice.
So
I also went to the E3 and I played games.
But hey, structure, okay? I said loose, not,
Oh,
not
okay.
that loose.
Whew. I didn't- not free form.
But, I mean, so did you go to
Different.
any press conferences, Jeff?
I did not. I did not get a chance to do that. I was kind of floor only this year because I only had one day to go. I had some work obligations that kind of kept me from.
Jeff,
I wanted to do 2 days originally.
We don't need to talk about press conferences. They're boring anyway. Let's talk about what?
Jeff, how much of your time was spent standing in line?
very little, surprisingly.
Maybe, yeah, like not as much as it was last year. I think because I think there were less big demos that I was waiting for too. Like I didn't wait in line for Destiny. I didn't really wait in too many lines at all. The longest line I think was Sunset Overdrive. And that wasn't very long at all.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, the potentially longest line that we could have been on was Morpheus, but I rushed in there first day, first hour. Like I was there at 9 a.m. because my friend dropped me off right before she went to work, so I was sitting there just watching Nintendo press conference because they had a Twitch lobby, so I can watch the press conference. And right after the press conference, it was probably like 10:30. The show floor opens at 12, so I was just sat there the whole time in the front of the line. And then I just rushed in, got 2 tickets, and got Jeff into Morpheus.
As soon as I got there, I was like, well, he's like, I got a pass for you, 1:15. Get in here. And I was like, okay, well, I guess that's my first stop then.
So all right, well let's talk about Morpheus then.
Yeah.
What demos did you see of the Morpheus?
On Tuesday there was 2 demos. There was luge and night fighting.
Mm-hmm.
I did the luge, the street luge demo.
Nice. So I mean, first of all, how was the hardware? How did it feel? What's your impression of that? Because I've never had VR at all, so.
Well, Andy, go ahead.
Okay, well, I've tried both the Oculus and Morpheus, and Morpheus is just a better form factor. It just feels comfortable on your head because it contacts with the back of your head and the front of your head.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it latches on, just like a clamp.
It feels almost counterbalanced. Like
Yeah.
it feels like it's like part of the weight is being taken off by the way the
So you're not
head
being
thing
pulled
is
forward.
designed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's how the Oculus feels. The Oculus is very front heavy.
Yeah.
And because
Is that even the case on the new kits, like on the second dev kit? Because I haven't seen that. I only ever tried the first one.
Yeah, the second dev kit still feels like that. I think only because I don't think their focus is on like hardware design. It's more, I mean, not hardware design. It's more. Is that about just design?
They're still finalizing components before they
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's still just more about let's just get this thing to work, and it's still a giant box in front of your face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whereas the Morpheus is like it's a chunk of hardware in the back and a chunk of hardware in the front. So
Nice.
you basically feel the balance of it.
So for all the Sony demos, were you playing that with a Move as well?
With night fighting, you play with the Move, and on the second day, on Wednesday when I was there was shark shooting. So you were in like a shark cage and you were shooting crossbows at a shark, and that was fun. I did that, and yeah, I mean the Move felt. I mean, it's just like playing with the Wii. It just felt natural, where you just point and shoot kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Street Luge demo only used the actual just the tracking of the headset, so it was just leaning left and right, which was really cool for kind of immersion, not having to worry about using a controller or moving anything around. But like,
So I'm sorry,
I found
I didn't mean move. I meant the eye. So do they all use the PlayStation Eye or the PlayStation 4 camera or whatever they call it?
it all uses the camera to track the headset,
Okay,
right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's why it feels
Yeah.
lighter also, because it doesn't have all the gyroscopes in it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the luge thing was cool. It's just like I didn't feel like I had an opportunity to like really survey the environment because anytime you moved your head, you were steering the luge.
Right.
So I would like go to look behind me and then just like all of a sudden be crashing into something, and like that was especially jarring in VR to like just all of a sudden there's a truck coming at me, great, like steering into wheels. You'd go under. It was really cool to like go under trucks though. It was like really it was neat.
Well, I'm glad they did that. I'm glad they didn't make any collision dynamics because you just went through things. Otherwise, it would just be really frustrating to like crash into the car and then
And it also probably be
spin
pretty
out.
traumatic. The camera just spinning.
They don't have any like vibration, do they? That would
No.
be weird.
No. My face is vibrating. Something's going on.
Well, that would have been cool
Or-
because they laid us on a beanbag. It would be cool if the beanbag had some sort of like
Whoa,
vibrating
talk
sensors.
about the how they laid you down. They touch you.
So
Show me where they
sweetly.
touched you.
So sweetly.
Took my hand and they set me gently on the beanbag and then blindfolded me with hardware.
Ah, okay, all right. Well, VR, that's cool.
It is.
Oh, another VR thing. If you want to get into the Oculus thing, I went to the Oculus booth and tried a few things.
Okay, yeah.
So with the Oculus, on Tuesday, Jeff played Alien Isolation, and I played that
yes.
on the Oculus, and it was scary as crap.
But
The disorienting thing is like, okay, so I'm 5'6", and the character in the game is like 7 foot tall, so you really feel that height, because you're going through the whole level, and then you see the floor plate is lower than it should be compared to your height, and then you're looking down, and you see boobs because you're at Riley.
At least you can see your feet. That's kind of.
Yeah. So
Were you standing up during this demo?
Yeah, you're standing up during this demo.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's basically just a walk.
Was it not this? Was it the same like challenge mode thing they were showing on the floor, or was it?
Yeah, it was the same challenge mode thing.
It was just in the Oculus. Wow.
Just in the Oculus, and you had the just the gamepad, and you were just controlling the gamepad. Same controls, but.
Oh, so what could you tilt to look though? Like could
Yeah, you can tilt to
the gear
look,
and stuff?
and then you can look
Oh
around.
man.
Yeah.
Ugh. That game was intense in normal television. Like
Yeah.
I can't imagine being in it. Like
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah, I like died in like 5 minutes. I couldn't do it. Yeah, but that was really cool. They also had this. Did you ever hear about the Omni?
yeah,
The Omni
the
treadmill.
Virtuix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they had that demoed behind the Oculus booth.
So
And
that's a weird name for me because it's not a treadmill, right? It's just like a slippery surface.
yeah, it's just a slippery bowl, but they're calling it a treadmill just because what else?
Maybe because the slippery bowl isn't especially marketable.
Yeah.
It's the Virtuix slippery bowl.
Yeah. But I didn't see any real people demo that. I just saw like guys in military fatigue just trying it out, like
They're
running
not
around.
real to you? What does that mean?
I mean, no, they're real people, but actual consumers.
Those people don't count.
More like,
They're being paid.
They don't have the right to vote. Okay. Make those people sit at the back of the bus, Andy.
maybe I will. My people struggled enough.
Oh, okay. Let's abort.
That's
So you watched people play this,
Yeah.
but you didn't get the demo. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get the demo, but it was just weird, just because it seemed like a very like scripted kind of deal where you see them running around in the hall, and you can tell these guys played this game over and over again, so they knew where to turn, they knew where to shoot the zombies because they were playing a zombie shooter,
Mm-hmm.
and so, I mean, I just can't see myself playing in Omni for longer than maybe like 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like it seems like a cool novelty, but then like you think, oh, I'm gonna actually have to run for my life, screaming from all these enemies and like shoot the like. After a while, you're gonna be tired as hell, just like running on this thing and having to twist around, like having your body weight shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it's still like awkward to move in. Like it's just never gonna feel like real movement.
Yeah, only because you're harnessed by your waist, and your waist is where your center. Like you can't really lean, or you can't really like duck for anything.
Whatever. It's a cool idea. I don't know that that's the way to execute on it. So from VR to AR, did anybody play a Kinect game at E3?
Were there any Kinect games there? I can't even
Fantasia.
Or Dance.
We saw Fantasia, we saw Just Dance, and they just seemed to be the same kind of deal. Which just like reach this pose.
Did anybody have a new?
I'm sure. I think they had Dance Central Spotlight somewhere, but I didn't.
But I mean, there's no crazy new Kinect experience or anything. There's no child.
There's that game. There's that game Fru. That Fru game. Have you seen that?
Oh, is that the one where your body is kind of like
your silhouette? You're using your silhouette to do platforming stuff, revealing platforms for the character. That could be cool, but like that's an indie thing, so it's almost like, oh, okay, well, of course, like someone's doing something cool with the Kinect in indie space at least.
Yeah.
But
I think that's Double Fine. Happy Action Theater 3 or whatever.
No, none of that.
Okay.
They didn't have a lot of indie games on the floor.
I mean, I saw a little bit in the Microsoft press conference, and it got me excited, but...
Yeah. PlayStation had a bunch of indie games just for their Vitas, because that's what they were really pushing.
Right. The Vita, like, all the Vita things were like, oh, it's Hyper Light Drifter. Look, it's Counter Spy. Like, all these games are like, wow, like, they're nowhere else on the floor, and you're like, what?
Oh, yeah, Don't Starve was on the Vita. Yeah, I knew you like that.
Oh, man, waiting for that co-op.
About Sony's press conference was like, they didn't mention Vita at all. Like, I
thought they mentioned it with the bundle, right?
Yeah, they mentioned it with the bundle, and they also mentioned it with the PlayStation TV, only because you can play Vita games inside of it, and they were just like, look at how many games we ported to the Vita, and they had that Vita backsplash with like all the games that they ported, like, oh, look, Final Fantasy X on the Vita, and every other game that's on PlayStation 3 on the Vita.
Yeah.
Yeah, and PlayStation Now, right? You can do that.
Yeah, PlayStation Now. That's a big thing, is cloud gaming.
Yeah. Which, did anybody see that? Has anybody played with that and tested out the latency and stuff?
Oh, I mean, the thing is, they had it on the show floor, so you can't really judge
it's not real world scenario.
It's not real world test conditions. So you could do it and it could be perfect, and that could be doesn't really indicate anything about the actual performance.
Yeah, I was also playing Street Fighter 4 on the PlayStation Now, and that's not a really heavy load game, so.
Well, but I mean that's a game where the latency is very important.
Yeah, the latency is very
super
important.
Like that in racing games.
Yeah, I mean that ran smooth on the show floor.
Oh, well, hopefully it does in the home, because that beta's coming, right?
Ryan, do you care about Ultra?
Kinda. I mean, they're kind of
Poison's pretty good. Poison's pretty good in it.
I was trying to not be a part of Street Fighter 4, but then they added a bunch of characters I liked. They had some neat stuff, so I think I'll have to give it a shot. At least give it a shot.
You have to give Street Fighter 4 a shot. When I moved to New York, one of my roommates was a big like fighting game, like part of the fighting game community. So I played a lot of Street Fighter 4 and Marvel vs. Capcom 3 while I was living in that house. And Street Fighter 4 is, I don't know, it's close. It's not as hectic as Street Fighter 3 is. It's closer to what 2 was, but it also adds a bunch of other like easy to learn, hard to master kind of things.
Okay.
But Ryan, for you, 3 is your favorite, right? And you don't like 2 and usually 4?
2 and 4 are too similar for me, and 3 was so different from those two, which is why I like it so much.
Is it just the parry system, or what is it that you really like in 3?
The parry system and the super art system, because you only get to choose one.
Yeah. The pacing of 3 is so much faster than the other games too.
Yeah, and I mean 3, and plus 3 was their last, like that was Capcom's last like 2D fighter, or like 2D graphically. I mean, and it was such a pretty game. So
yeah.
Does anybody care about Does anybody care about Mortal Kombat X?
I definitely care about Mortal Kombat X, but I recognize that that's a silly thing to be super excited about.
Well, the thing about Mortal Kombat X is like you're not excited for it for the gameplay mechanics. You're excited for it just shits and giggles.
I mean,
just like
hey,
look.
Actually, I don't know that I agree because like I'm starting to come around on that game. I'm playing a lot of 9 recently, and it's like okay, they're adding stuff in. Like Injustice had the environmental attacks; those are pretty interesting. They're bringing that in. They're bringing in the stamina system that kind of will help to keep people from spamming stuff. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
for me, like I didn't, I'm not a fighting game guy, so like the new mechanics and whatever. But I saw new characters that weren't dumb as shit, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like they had
exactly.
actually interesting looking new characters, which I didn't think they could do, honestly.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I think working on Injustice kind of opened them up to like, oh, here's some character archetypes that we can play off of. Like here's like that big character that's almost like Grundy that they never had.
Yeah, like that big dude who has like a little person on top of him throwing him around. Like that was so.
Yeah. Oh, and the character variation stuff that kind of expands the game and makes it more interesting.
So even when you have like a character who's like, oh, I've seen Scorpion in every game. Well, now there's like 3 different versions of Scorpion.
Now there's 3 different Scorpions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that Guilty Gear game, the Xrd, the PS4, Xbox One Guilty Gear games? Anyone seen that but me?
No, I've seen a couple. I mean, I've been sort of keeping up with
it. It's so good looking. Like I don't even they did it. They made a 3D game that looks like a 2D game, and that's super cool. That's all I want to say about it.
It's definitely very pretty, and I mean that developer. I think they make. I enjoy their fighting games more than I enjoy Capcom fighting games. I mean, it's kind of neck and neck with Marvel vs. Capcom.
So yeah, like
Persona 4 Arena and Guilty Gear. Blaze Blue is kind of iffy for me, but those other 2 were like. That's the epitome of 2D fighting, I think.
Yeah.
Who makes the monster fighting game with like Frankenstein and stuff?
Are you talking about Darkstalkers? Because that's a Capcom game.
Oh yeah, that's Capcom.
Okay. That's all I know about fighting games.
It's a good one to know about. It's a pretty sweet game.
So, did anybody else play? What were you gonna say?
No, go ahead.
Did anybody else play Battlefield Hardline besides Ryan?
I did not. I did not get the chance.
Well, Ryan,
I don't know if you guys
what did you think about Battlefield Hardline? How's it different? I tried to watch a little bit on Twitch last night, and
Tell us about it.
Strange.
I mean, it's keep in mind that there's only 2 game modes and 1 map. So,
what are the game modes?
It's Heist and Blood Money, I think was the other one called. So Heist is where the robbers have to get a package from one end of the map to the other, and the cops have to stop them.
Yeah.
Blood Money there's money in the center or like at some random point on the map. I think it's the same every time actually. Like the robbers have to get money, or the cops and the robbers have the same objective. Like they get the money from the map, from the big the center, and they take it to their side. So. I mean, the game is fun, but it's not different enough, at least for me, from Battlefield 4. And the cops and robbers play exactly the same. They have aesthetic differences, there's an attention to detail, which is nice. Because the cops get, for their melee attack, they get nightsticks, and the robbers get baton or baseball bats.
Yeah.
And there's neat stuff like that, but otherwise, it's pretty much.
I mean, it's not a.
I would have.
Do you feel like you would? Good.
I would have preferred this to. I think I told you this, Scott. I would have preferred Hardline to be more like Battlefield 1943, like just a $20 or $15 downloadable thing, and you get a couple maps and some guns, and it's not the next Battlefield.
Yeah.
But it's just sort of like an inter-equal type thing. But apparently, from what I've read, this is like a full-fledged $60 purchase, and Battlefield 4 came out last year, right?
And you're saying this feels too similar to Battlefield 4 because they don't do enough to have the character teams asymmetrical enough? They're too similar to just because you said it's just aesthetic differences, right? Between the cops and robbers.
Classes as 4. like medic and heavy weapons guy.
Oh, okay.
Like that's all the same. There's no
But
tank.
it seems weird because
Yeah,
if you're robbing a bank, you don't need a heavy weapons guy and a medic. You need like other stuff.
You need 4 guys with guns just to come in.
But it's not like tanks and jets and stuff like a Battlefield game, right? It's more intimate, kind of like Bad Company, or.
Yeah, but there are vehicles. So there's like SWAT vans and helicopters, and police cars, and that was all I saw. So there's no tanks, no jets, nothing like that.
And so, I mean, the little bit I saw, it was like a dude hopped in a helicopter and found a guy in an armored truck and blew it up. I mean, it took a little bit, but it didn't strike me as it balanced. I mean, it seemed like the guys without the helicopters weren't doing too well.
Yeah, I want to say it's because of the beta that I guess the anti-vehicle stuff isn't it's not unlocked yet for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's either that or the vehicles do seem really overpowered, except for the police cruisers because they don't have any offensive weaponry. Like they just get you from wherever. Like the armored cars and the helicopters, like they're really really overpowered.
Okay. All right. What else? What else, guys?
Well,
Far Cry. What? What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I was gonna go to Destiny, the other preview that's going on right now. But if you want to talk about Far Cry, we could do that.
Hey, shooters! Why should I care about them?
Why should you care about? Well, okay. First of all, Far Cry 4. I heard you like Far Cry 3.
I never beat Far Cry.
All right.
I
liked Far Cry 2.
Yeah. Well. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Confirmed. Far Cry 2 is a good game. Far Cry 3 is also a good game. This feels more like Far Cry 3, and it feels, at least in the demo that they were giving on the floor, or the kiosk, the playable demo, it was an emphasis on blowing shit up and flying around in this gyrocopter, which was fun. It was fun as hell. A semi-automatic grenade launcher. Who doesn't want that? But I kind of liked cruising around with a bow in 3 and silently eliminating stuff.
Yep.
And this was like a walled outpost, and it was like that was not an option. Like you can't silently gyrocopter in. Like you can't like cruise in with your gyrocopter like, shh, hold on, like and land it. It's not gonna happen. And then the other way in was to like either blow up the front gate or like cruise in on an elephant, and that's just come on.
Yeah, 3.
So it was very clearly slanted towards like exploding shit.
3 had like a balance of sort of more normal FPS type missions, like you sneak in, you murder somebody or whatever, and then like the really crazy missions where you like flamethrower everybody or you blow some up. And 4 looks like it's solely focused on the crazy missions.
Well, I mean that's all they showed, right?
It's all we've seen so far. There could be a lot more. I mean, I think that the story stuff looks good, could be interesting. I mean, I'm on board. I'm ready. Like I'll play another Far Cry.
How was the setting? Because that's sort of the interesting part for me is like how do they make a big mountainous terrain where you can easily get around?
Grapple points. Lots of grapple points. A lot of swinging. A lot of climbing. You have the wingsuit all the time. Again, that gyrocopter.
Does it have at all any like Just Cause elements where you're like grappling and then wingsuiting and then shooting up? And...
we haven't seen anyone grapple into wingsuit, but I mean. There was that demo where, like, yeah, you can grapple cars to planes and then planes to other planes.
Are you asking to be Batman?
Do that.
Yeah. Use the grapnel gun, the Batman gun.
All right.
No, but I mean, Far Cry looks good. I'm excited to see more of it. It'd be cool to see if they can make it better.
You should have used that as a transition to did anybody play Batman Arkham Knight?
No, because that line was stupid.
Alright. I saw the demo. It looks very, very pretty.
It's very pretty.
Well.
And
it's good looking.
If you were there live for the for their like Sony reveal trailer, it was insane because they had smoke everywhere for when Scarecrow came on, and they had like laser lights everywhere. Like the whole stadium was like glitching out. We're like, what's going on? And the Scarecrow comes up. And like, oh man, that's so bad.
That doesn't work for me. Like we've played with Scarecrow in the previous games. Why is it big
Why
reveal.
should we be so spooked by a Scarecrow? Like, oh no, it's Scarecrow again.
Like, nah, man, we beat him. So
It's not the.
we gotta beat him again.
From what I understand about this game, it's not the fact that it's Scarecrow, but rather than just like the lower rogues gallery coming together to take over what Joker started. Some
Yes,
crazy
I mean,
shit
I
like
liked
that.
I like the idea of Arkham Knight, like
Yeah.
a whole other villain.
Yeah.
Who I hope he doesn't take off his mask and it's the Joker or something. Like I don't.
Yeah,
I
it's
really
like-
recycle
I
the
really hope it's not the
gallery
Joker.
back.
Because I'm tired of the Joker being the main bad guy for every single Batman game.
And dude, I thought that in Arkham City, it was so impactful when Batman. I mean, spoilers, but Batman comes out holding Joker's body, and like Joker died, and
Yeah.
only in the game universe could you do that and get away with it. And like,
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you can go with that continuity and do interesting stuff with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so anyway, yeah, pretty game.
That's all it is. It's a pretty game, and the tank, like the vehicle mechanics. I hope they work out. I hope they're just like other games where like fighting's awesome, but vehicles are just janky as hell.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite things to do in Arkham City, I'll just pop it on every once in a while and just fly around Gotham. So now that I have a car that I can pop out of and keep flying and then pop back in and then
Yeah.
like, it just makes mobility around the city even
and
better.
also a bigger city to just fly around. Like, just being able to really, yeah, that's...
Just fill that thing with Riddler trophies and I'll be set.
Yeah.
2,000 collectibles.
Dude,
Good
people
luck.
say it's too much, but what it does for me is it means every time I turn that game on, there's always something to do. Because I'm
Yeah.
never going to do all those
Yeah.
Riddler trophies.
I mean, that game did it well because it's not. You don't just go and find a Riddler trophy. They're like, oh, go here and get it. Like you got to figure it out. Like
Yeah.
each
You got to work
trophy,
for it.
or each trophy is a puzzle, and that
It's
made it
rewarding.
Yeah. And not only is it a puzzle, but you have to switch characters for some of the puzzles. It's like, oh, I have to use Selena for this puzzle. Like climb the grates and get through it.
All right.
Get
All
just
right.
get through it.
Andy, what is Codename Steam?
Codename Steam is a Nintendo strategy RPG coming out for the 3DS, and it's a steampunk RPG along the lines of Valkyria Chronicles, where you're a third-person turn-based shooter.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's like set in like alternate history London, where aliens invade and
So
you just
the
have
Order
steampunk guns.
1880. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
No, it's it's pretty wild, seems like.
Yeah, and it's like in this like comic book storytelling fashion where with like text bubbles and every time you shoot something you see like words like clack clack clack.
Is that first party?
Yeah, it's first party.
Oh wow. So this is a
Yeah.
new IP from Nintendo.
Yeah, that's their
Yeah.
new IP. That's
Oh,
the new
wow.
IP they've been teasing about.
I feel like I gave
Everyone-
them so much shit, and I didn't realize
Well,
that.
that
they were
and-
stuff.
And Splatoon, also Splatoon, huge new
Yeah.
IP, right?
For some reason I was thinking that was PS4. Okay.
No,
yeah,
man,
that
Splatoon.
looked cool, man.
That's
Yeah.
yeah, it looks really cool.
Splatoon is so fun. I got to demo that, and
Oh,
it's just
That's it's my regret that I didn't wait for that.
well, we were rushing the show floor on like Tuesday, so there was like hardly time to do anything, and that
Yeah,
line was
yeah, for sure.
crazy.
But how was it?
It was so fun, only because like I like you can play so many different ways surprisingly, just between squid and human. So you
Yeah.
can just play just rush style where you just rush and because your gun automatically shoots. So you can just play rush, just run up, just shoot things, or you can play snipe. So you can use your ink to climb up walls and just go to a high place. And once you kill a certain number of people, you get random guns. So you can get a sniper rifle, you can get grenades, you can get a rocket launcher, and just splat paint everywhere. And the whole mechanics of just like I can travel fast on my paint, but not the other guy's paint is just fun in itself. Just because you can interrupt someone's path right away. If someone's chasing after you, turn around, splat, run
You can
away.
cut them off.
Yeah, you can cut them off. Or on the other side, like I saw this one guy splat paint up a wall, like just halfway up the wall, so it's unsuspecting. He's hiding on the top part of the paint. I turn around, he jumps down from the paint and just starts attacking me,
Wow. Like hiding in the wall?
hiding in the wall. Like
Oh
you don't-
man, that's so cool.
Because you think it's a mistake. The first time I played, it's like, oh, this guy was just like splatting paint and just ran away, you know. But he
But no,
actually
it's a hiding spot.
Yeah, it's a hiding spot. Everywhere's a hiding spot.
Do you have melee? Like, can you jump down and paint
No.
knife someone?
No, you can't paint. You
Paint.
can
Paint snap their neck.
Just run up to them, just grenade them, and just kill them all.
Just run a grenade them and kill them all. And Nintendo's exciting new family
I feel like the developers in this game were trying to go for something a little less violent, and we're just like, can I paint their entrails?
Well, the thing is, like, the health system is so violent looking because the health system is you see paint splatters like surround your screen until it's full, then you're dead. So if the enemy's team is red paint, then it looks like blood on your screen.
Oh, man, that's an oversight.
Yeah.
Blood code.
But it's really cool because it's all about like choke point control. So there's grates throughout the level that you can control. So if you paint on the grates, you can turn to a squid to go under them. But you can also like block the grates by using the same thing. So you can play defensive and offensive, or you can play sneaky. There's like so many different ways that you can play.
It seems like it's pretty cool. Like I don't know if it's like the thing the Wii U needs, but I don't know if that's anyone.
Well, the thing is, like, the thing about the Wii U, I've always told a lot of people, is if they didn't call it a Wii U, I think it would be slightly more successful.
Yeah, probably.
Because there's just so many interesting things that are coming. Even though they're first-party things, there's so many interesting things that are coming out with it, especially with the projects that we saw there.
Oh yeah, like that Project Guard was really interesting.
Okay, that was my next thing. I was like going down the list of things that I hadn't heard of and don't have really good names. Project Guard?
I think the two things, I didn't spend a huge amount of time with a lot of Mario stuff, or not Mario stuff, Nintendo stuff.
No, you said
I feel like Andy did more of that. But I did play Mario Maker, and Mario Maker, you guys, you make your Mario levels. I don't know if you heard about this, or have you seen this, but it's pretty great.
I mean, I got Game Maker on my computer.
That's all I have to say about it.
I make real games.
Yeah, but it's the fact that it's so intuitive, it's so immediate to be able to pick up the thing and place down the pipes, and I don't know, there's something really appealing about like these characters like the stuff that you know in and out, especially if you've always played like Super Mario Bros, like it's such a classic, so it's like burned into your head. So being able to go in and actually adjust that stuff on the fly and then jump in and out and play the levels, I don't know, it was really fun. I just had a good time with it.
What Mario games can you take assets from? So is it like 1, 2, 3? What's going on?
Right now, it's only just the first Super Mario Bros. and new Super Mario Bros. And the physics are the same between the two tile sets. So it's not like they've really offered too much variety there yet. And like the levels are only so long. I don't know how many. It's like 5 screens or something. But the fundamental like interface and stuff is there. It's totally spot on. I just want more of it. I feel like it would be so cool if I could use stuff from Super Mario World, because that's like, I don't know, make a ghost house. I want to make a ghost house. You know, like that'd be amazing.
Like all the 2D Marios, like that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would really be awesome.
So speaking of making your own levels, I mean, did you care about New Little Big Planet?
It seemed kind of like the game demo they had on stage was just so. I mean, the characters are interesting just for gameplay mechanics. You know, the guy that can toggle, that can turn big and small and heavy and light with as far as puzzles do. And they had the dog that can wall jump. But it seems like as long as you have the bird, you can win the levels.
That was kind of how I felt about
the bird is easy
mode. There's one character that could just. I mean, the wizard could pretty much get everybody through the level.
Yeah.
Like Sonic 3 when you play as Tails and you just like fly everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, what? There's a gap? Later.
Right.
Hey, did any of you guys play Sonic Boom?
I saw the developer talk about Sonic Boom. I haven't played it.
Wow, you got closer than I did.
That's only because
I smelled the Sonic and went the other way.
I was sitting in the Twitch booth just waiting for I forget which talk I was waiting for, but
for your exclusive interview to begin, yeah.
Yeah, for my exclusive interview. Oh god, I have stories to tell you after this podcast. They're just stupid.
Okay.
But
all right. Anyway, sorry.
So I mean, the whole thing is they're making a Sonic Boom cartoon. So it's not this whole like they're starting the relationships on screen. So it's like Knuckles and Sonic have conflict with each other because they're not so much bros. And so you just, like, at the part the guy was playing Knuckles was like, no, we gotta smash things because I'm Knuckles. And Sonic's just like, no, we just gotta run fast. So you pick one of them to play, and, and you go through, and then I didn't see this apartment Tales yet, but that was basically like the storyline. It's definitely dumbed down for kids, and it's just like, all right, here's two characters you can pick from, and here's the reasons why you should pick them, and play through this level.
All right, well, let's move on from that.
Sanic.
Andy, how is Yoshi's Woolly World different from Kirby's Epic Yarn?
It's different from what?
Kirby's Epic Yarn?
Kirby's Epic Yarn was more of just like the environment was definitely just like this 2D world that when you just looked at it, whereas in Yoshi's Woolly World, it's clearly like a rounded surface. It's more crocheted than sewed or cross-stitched.
And that's just in terms of the visual design,
That's just in terms of the visuals. But it plays like Yoshi's Story, which is like...
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like Yoshi... Is it like Yoshi's Story or more like Yoshi's Island?
It's more like Yoshi's Story.
Okay, explain to me the difference between Yoshi's Story and Yoshi Island, because I didn't play either.
I didn't play them either.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
with Yoshi's Island...
platformers, right?
Yeah, well, Yoshi's Island is more about going through a level, saving Mario, whereas Yoshi's Story felt like it has more puzzles involved with the platforming.
Right.
Okay.
Did Yoshi's Story have the same egg throwing mechanic?
Yeah, like Yoshi's Story had the same egg throwing mechanic.
Oh, okay.
So Yoshi's Story was more like Yoshi's Island, but Yoshi's Island was more... But Yoshi's Island...
Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yoshi's Woolly World is
what is that about?
Yoshi's Story. I don't know.
Okay, then what is it?
It's a platformer?
It's a platformer
where you're Yoshi and you throw eggs at stuff and you eat everything that you see.
And it's adorable as shit.
I'm so glad I asked. Okay. New Smash Brothers?
Smash.
I love the addition of Pac-Man. I think it's fantastic addition. And he fits that game's aesthetic perfectly.
Yeah. I just love the introduction they did with him where they're just like showing all the classic characters. It's like, here's Mario, here's Mega Man, here's Sonic, and then here's this other classic character, Pac-Man. And he just, like, when they revealed him and you see all of his movesets and you can see that he turned into, like, classic Pac-Man for a move, you're like, man, that's just so awesome. And he's, like, throwing, like, pixel ghosts everywhere.
Is that his final Smash, turning into 2D Pac-Man?
I don't think that's his final Smash.
Oh. Is that just a move? I want to do that all the time.
I think that's his rushed move, like, you know, like your
forward B or whatever.
Yeah. But man, I don't know. That game is just plays. I don't know. I can't really tell the nuances between like the different Smash Brothers. Like everyone just like Melee is so much faster. Brawl is this, and I can definitely tell the physics standpoint. Whereas like Brawl is very floaty. Like characters just fly off faster.
Mm-hmm.
But with this game, you know, it's still in beta, so you can't really tell what the final project is. But I just love the fact I can play as Mega Man.
Nice.
And they're counting on that.
Yeah.
It's like, all these characters, you love Pac-Man, come play Smash Brothers.
Yeah. One thing that interested me is with the amiibos, where it's like AI. So it's supposed to be, you know,
they learn.
They learn. So you don't play as them. You put them in as like your training partner or just to watch two figures fight each other. And they learn from fighting other people or they learn from fighting you. And you can customize each of their special moves. So which makes me think it's like in the real game, can you go in and select like, I want Mario with Fireball forward and Cape back B and down B is Flood, or I can down B to spin attack. Because, you know...
Maybe you can only do that with the amiibo.
Yeah, maybe you can do it with only the amiibo, but I can't... Like, I can... Yeah, but I can imagine seeing you do that in-game, because, you know, 64 Mario has slightly different movesets than Melee Mario that has slightly different movesets than Brawl Mario.
The option to go back to like legacy moves, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, because that was the big thing that changed was the down B move, where it went from being like the spin attack, and then it went from being that to being the Flood, and then went that to being like the Cape.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought you said you
Okay.
couldn't speak to the
Yeah.
nuances of Smash Brothers.
I can't speak to the nuances of the fighting mechanics, but I can speak to the nuances of I can see different movesets.
The moveset.
So I think I've pretty much gone through your list. Did anybody play Cuphead?
Was that on the floor?
Cuphead. No.
I don't know. I don't know. I just saw it in that Microsoft press conference, and I thought that was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Or
didn't get a chance
Abzu,
to check out
the,
stuff.
That was-
the Sony.
That wasn't on the show floor. All the games that you listed was not on the were not on the show
No
floor.
Man's Sky. Okay. All the really pretty
Man's
things
Sky.
that I was really interested in.
Oh man, but No Man's Sky is
Yeah.
just so awesome. Just because
I was a little afraid after the show. I was watching an interview with one of the developers, and he was saying, that a lot of the game will be, little combat encounters, and that kind of bummed me out because I really liked the sort of exploration elements. And I was like, I hope I spend most of my time exploring and, sort of maybe like a Minecraft-ish idea where it's like I'm exploring and I'm building and I'm collecting resources and all that stuff.
yeah.
But it sounds like it's going to be more of little
But
contained combat.
It seems
area.
like that stuff's so contained, and the scale that they're talking about in the game, it seems like would allow you to avoid that combat and just explore other places. You know,
Yeah.
like if you cruise in and there's just a fleet of dudes, you're going to be like, oh shit, and have your escape, and that still could work within how you want to play the game potentially.
Yeah.
I hope so. But man, that art style is gorgeous.
It
Yeah.
is the best. It's the best.
Yeah.
And those transitions between like the planet and
Ain't no transition,
space,
son. It's transitions.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's totally seamless.
Yeah. The
Now-
big draw of that game is like it's just the more people on it, the more planets exist. Just because it's
Yeah,
like,
and then like have the fact that it's that multiplayer.
yeah.
Now, is it a
So
possibility?
crazy.
And this is an issue I had with Borderlands when they advertised like billions of guns, but then they had like what was it, like 5 or 6 like base gun models, and then all the billions ones were just like like different numbers or something. So I'm afraid that with like the guy said there's like billions of planets or something like that. So I'm afraid that you go to a planet and like you go to another one, it's the same thing. It's got blue trees this time.
Yeah.
But, like,
So,
everything else is
Yeah.
My
mean-
understanding, and this is just from reading. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, the thing is, like, if you have X number of factors times X number of factors, eventually you will run into a planet that will just be ever so slightly different. But if there are so many people online, with maybe there's like, say, there's an infinite number of color schemes that you can choose from. You choose one base color, and then you can go like triadic color scheme or chromatic color scheme, or you can go complementary color scheme. So there's
Yeah.
an infinite possibility of colors, but as far as assets go, that's the problem where it lies. There's like
Well,
maybe
what I hear about the assets is that like it's not fixed. Like we did 12 trees. It's like they're sliders. It's all sliders. Like they both have, it's all slider controlled for every single asset,
yeah.
and then those slider values are randomized. So that allows for a lot bigger variety in
Oh,
terms
okay.
of like
Yeah.
what
And have
defines a tree versus what defines an animal or whatever.
Have they said whether there'd be any like player created content? Like, are you crafting? Are you building things? Like, can you go to a planet and it's like, oh, they built this castle or whatever?
There seems to be an indication of gathering resources. I don't know if those are just I don't know if that's just a currency mechanic or if it's actually resources for crafting in the style of Minecraft. I mean, who knows? I mean, this thing seems so crazy and ambitious for 10 people that like, who knows how much other insane stuff is in there if they're managing to pull this off.
Yeah.
Oh, so stoked.
Yeah, it's really, really exciting.
Anything else, guys?
Oh yeah, one question I wanted to ask you guys was, okay, so for the trailers for Battlefront and the next Mass Effect, I want to call it Mass Effect 4,
And Mirror's Edge.
and Mirror's Edge,
And Mirror's Edge.
like what? For me at least, like if you don't have anything meaningful to show, you're just showing a bunch of people talking, like, oh, this game's gonna be great, and we're really working hard. They just don't bother. Like they showed so little that it was like, why waste my time and your time even doing this? Like I know you're making the game, so
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
tough.
but
It's tough. It's like you don't want to be shown a CG trailer necessarily, but then like you also don't want to be shown a unrepresentative vertical slice. But then when
yeah,
you're shown the reality that they're still working on the systems, then it's like that's not necessarily super satisfying either. It's like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm really stoked about seeing the combat in Mirror's Edge. Like, holy crap, they're doing it. It looks great. But then like I'm like, oh man, but I would have loved to seen it like prettied up. You know what I mean? Like I want to see the.
At least Mirror's Edge showed like something in engine. Like Battlefield, they announced it a year ago, and we can't. I mean, you don't have
With
one
the trailer, yeah.
full environment that like just build out indoor and put a speeder bike in it. I mean, you don't even have to show
What
like.
wasn't that what the end of that thing was? The end of that thing
Was
was
that in
they
engine?
dropped it,
I
like,
don't-
That was
all
like
that stuff was labeled in engine.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
I mean,
Yeah.
that showed
So-
that, but it was still kind of. I don't know. I was unimpressed. I was like, why bother at that point? Like,
Yeah.
and the game looked so unfinished. Like it didn't look bad, but I was like,
Well, I mean,
clearly-
it's not like it's coming out this year, dude. Like, you gotta
Yeah.
give them time
But
to
the-
make the game.
no,
the
that's
thing is, like,
that's totally
you have-
fine. But don't say, oh, Battlefront is going to be at E3, and then show me this product that is clearly at least 2.5 years away from being great.
yeah,
Like, that game is not going to be available, or at least
yeah,
it shouldn't be available for at least like 2 years, I think.
yeah. But the thing is, like, ever since like Disney Interactive kind of like bought LucasArts, it was one of those things where they had to show face, or else like the fans would just lose faith.
Yeah.
Wait. I mean, DICE is making Battlefront.
Yeah, DICE is making
But
Battlefront
Disney
now,
Interactive-
but Disney kind of like owns that brand.
They've licensed out the stuff, right?
Right,
They've
right.
licensed out the Star Wars
Yeah.
brand after shutting down LucasArts.
Does
Yeah.
But
Disney
yeah, like,
own
so you're saying
LucasArts?
this
Or,
is
I
the
mean,
case
I know Disney owns Star Wars, but LucasArts I thought was gone.
No, LucasArts. That's what I mean.
Yeah, well,
like they just like absorbed it.
They absorbed it and then shut it down.
Yeah.
They purchased it and then it got shut
They're
down.
not putting things out with the LucasArts
No, they're
brand.
not putting
on
it. They're not putting things out with the LucasArts brand or the Disney Interactive brand as far as Star Wars go, but they're still the head of that franchise.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what's causing fans some conflict. It's just
And there's history there,
yeah.
obviously.
Okay.
So it's one of those things where they had to show face because like there's a lot of things where you don't want to show it because it's unfinished, but just because of the hype around it, you have to show something, or else like
Right.
or else it's either just like, oh, that's just bullshit news, or it's not true, or it's not going anywhere good because we haven't seen anything.
Hey, speaking of going nowhere, where is The Last Guardian?
Oh, it's not going anywhere.
Come on, man.
I don't even care.
Still-
I don't care.
Still in development for PlayStation
I was-
consoles.
I actually asked about that to my creative director, and he's just like, I haven't heard anything since last year. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, so Sony doesn't really know what's going on with Last Guardian. It's like, nope. I was like,
When was that first trailer? That was like 2010 or something, wasn't it?
yeah, that was like, it was supposed to be one of the, like, it was like right when PS4 was announced. They're just like, hey, look, Last Guardian. Do you remember Eco? Do you remember Shadow of the Colossus? Here's another game.
And then nothing for years.
Yeah. I don't know
But,
why.
you know, well, I have two small things. One
Oh,
small
I've
thing and
seen
one
them.
really, really big thing.
Keep your pants on.
Oh, whoa, hey.
Hey.
Hi-yo. Hotline Miami 2. I just want to briefly talk about
Did you
Hotline
play the
Miami 2
first?
because I did. I played a lot of it. It is a fun, immediate arcade game, and it looks like they're iterating on it in some really cool ways. In the second one, that level editor looks really interesting. Like the idea that you'll be able to create your own kind of crazy death traps. Game's still pretty hard. Looks like they're moving to a system where you're picking characters rather than just picking a mask. Did any of you play the first one? Nobody played it.
Nope.
I played it.
All right. Yeah. So you're picking characters now.
You
The
in the
characters
back,
kind of
though.
have all individual attributes. And the character I got to play was the Swans, which is like a brother and sister. The sister has a chainsaw, and the brother follows behind her and will pick up guns automatically. So you can shoot and chainsaw people with the same character. So that's pretty cool.
There's
super
still
violent.
hope in video games, is what you're telling me.
Wow, hey, why don't you go comment on a message board, bro?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
With your
Kama Sutra, here I
surface
come.
opinion of what's happening in games.
Yeah.
Destiny, man, come on, Destiny. It's good. It sure is. I played the alpha all weekend.
I'm sure it has really
So are
important
you
things to say about life and...
Question, is there a room for games that don't have something important to say? What does Mario Maker have to say?
Well, I'm just saying, I mean,
Literally nothing.
I'm just saying that we're kind of... That's all we have right now. I mean, almost. It seems like we've gotten to the point where we've made all the...
Fun.
We've made all the Michael Bay movie video games. Now let's...
Right.
I mean,
yeah,
that's
fun.
A medium.
But you also haven't played it, and you don't know what the Did you play? You played Journey, right? Did you enjoy Journey?
Oh yeah, it's over there.
The seamless multiplayer stuff that happens in Destiny reminds me most of the moments I would have in Journey. Coming across people when you most need them, or getting involved in like a big public event, it doesn't feel, because of the amount of people that are out in those areas, it doesn't feel like an MMO would, like an MMO public area. It feels like you're coming across someone kind of in an organic way. And I think that has the potential to really strike a chord with people. I mean, it's hit me pretty hard. I'm also highly susceptible to loot games, so I guess take that under consideration. But I think it's going to be an interesting game, and I hope people will get behind it. And I'm sure Activision does too, because they've spent a considerable amount of money on it.
Are you in the beta?
So, I apply. Yeah, I have a beta code, but this was just the alpha for the weekend.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. So yeah.
Do you care about Halo 5 or Halo Guardians, whatever?
I care because
Master Chief Collection.
I care because, and I'm gonna say this, and I know the fanboy hate is strong, but I thought Halo 4's story was super weak and stupid, and it didn't make any sense. And the trailer that they had for the Master Chief Collection, presumably like sort of acts as a trailer for 5, because you see that character on the Halo 5 cover, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
but she's talking to
you give him some
who's a
narration.
character I really liked, and he was not in 4 at all, and they didn't even mention him. And I thought that was super dumb. So now that he's back, I'm more interested. My interest level has gone from 0 to like...
Wait, so Master Chief wasn't in 4?
No, he was.
Wait,
Yeah, he was, but not the Arbiter.
Oh, Arbiter. Oh, not the Arbiter. Okay.
It's funny
Ryan,
how like
you
a
like
familiar
the Arbiter
character.
in 2, right?
I'm sorry?
You like the Arbiter and the story in 2? Is that
Yes, I thought the Arbiter was great. He was a way more compelling character than Master Chief. Like, everybody loves Master Chief, but Master Chief is he's just a suit. He has no, like...
Yeah.
His name's John, man. Come on, it's so...
But the thing is, like...
so boring.
Like, in Halo 1 and 2, that's all he was. He was just, like, a nameless soldier that's just supposed to be really awesome. And the Arbiter was the one that's like, fighting all the politics of...
Yeah.
What's
People
doing
love
the interesting,
space
the interesting story part.
Yeah.
Space politics.
Space politics.
It's funny.
Finding out that your civilization is a lie and everything's going to hell, and you are one person that can kind of stop it, but not really.
If there's a trade federation, I am.
They tried to sort of make it a compelling, like, character story for Master Chief in 4, which it was neat, but the rest of the story was so dumb that I was like, I don't even care about this. And
all right.
Yeah.
But a familiar character can get you back in. That's just how it goes.
I would say that I am interested now, but I'm not like, oh shit, I gotta have it.
Right, I feel you.
You know what will make Halo 5 awesome? Mega Man.
Trolling.
First person Mega Man?
You mean Mega Man Legends 5?
You find out that Dr. Wily built the Halos, and you gotta get him.
No!
I'm
just picturing like Halo exposition, but in those like the still frame NES style cutscenes, just shots of like Dr. Wily. He built the Halos.
Okay. Well,
And then the flood. ...
Anybody else have something meaningful?
Nope.
What was it? Gauntlet. Jeff and I played Gauntlet.
Oh yeah, we put
That was
Gauntlet.
really fun. Because
that
every
was pretty
character
good.
plays
Yes.
differently, and that was really fun.
Yeah,
just
and the wizard
experience.
plays like Magica.
Yeah.
Wait, so is this the same franchise is like the old like Gauntlet. Like
Yeah.
This is a reboot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a reboot of that franchise, but it's the same idea. Like big levels with monster spawners that you have to destroy, huge like mobs of enemies.
Okay.
But then like each character, like Andy said, plays differently.
That developer made Magicka, right?
Yeah.
And is making a new Magicka, and I believe made or is making Helldivers?
Yeah, they're making Magicka 2, they're making Helldivers, and they're also making Gauntlet. So
good on them, I guess.
Some games coming out.
Yeah.
Gauntlet's fun.
Gauntlet's really fun, just because like Elf plays like just one stick to shoot, one stick to move. Warrior is just run around and smash things. Valkyrie, you could use a stick to pull up your shield and block things, and with the right analog stick. So you move with the right analog.
You could throw your shield too, Captain America style.
You're basically Captain America, bounces off things. And Wizard plays like Magicka, where you just combine 3 elements and then you get a new attack.
And then cast it with the right stick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
But all you need is Fireball.
Gauntlet.
That's all you ever need is Fireball.
Blow everything up.
All I need is for this broadcast.
Friendly fire all day.
So, all right. Thank you, everybody here. Stick around because we're gonna trade secrets. Everybody else has got to go. So for HeatSeeker.com, this was Target Acquired. Thank you and bye.